Alright guys, so I'm going to divide this particular topic into two sessions. So first we are going to look at the theoretical part of all these things, and then we are going to look at the code base. Obviously if you already know it, you can skip it. Actually, so just it's called fundamentals for a reason. Alright, so for this one will return the length of a string. So if you have, for example, a string called Samson, yeah, and I call the dot length njth method on it, this will return 6. Now the reason I can call dot length method on this is because it's a string. I cannot do for example, I cannot do 5 dot length. Yes, because 5 is not a string. Yes, 5 will return, this will return an error because it is not a property. The length is a property of a string and not the property of a number. Do you understand that? I can call dot length on a string. I can call dot slice on a string. Okay, dot slice. So it will remove a part of a string and then add it to the other string. So if I have, for example, right, if I say Samson dot slice, Samson dot slice is going to extract Sam from Samson. Why is it Sam that is going to extract from Samson? So check, it takes in two arguments. The first argument here is the starting index. The second one here is the ending index. So if I say this, what I'm just trying to say here is slice from the 0 index to the 3rd index, but don't include the value at the 3rd index. So I'll come here and say, it will come here and say, okay, the first index here is Samson, is S. Okay, I'll slice S, I'll slice A, I'll slice M, and I'm supposed to stop here, yes? So I'm not going to slice this number, I'll just extract only Sam. Okay? So one cool thing about slice is that it can accept negative indexes. Okay? So when you give it a negative index, it's going to start counting from the back, basically. So it's up to you to figure out how to make that work. Right? You're going to need this when you're manipulating strings, especially if you don't want to loop through the string. You can just use this method to extract what you need from that string. So what you just do is okay, you say this let it start from the back. So you start counting from the back. The last number here is actually -1. So you take -1, -2, and -3. Yes, and then end at -1. So you take -1, -2, and -3, and then ends at this -1. This -1 is n. So remember, it's not going to include this -1. So the unit we are going to extract here is S and O. Yes, I think that's simple enough. Now for substring will do something similar to what slice is doing already. The only thing is that substring will not accept negative values. So if you want to use substring, just know that it's not going to accept negative values. You can only use positive indexes for it. Right? But it works exactly the same way as slice. Now this substr is an old method. Right? It's not useful. So there's also replace all. So it's a simple one, capitalize. You want to capitalize the method. You want to capitalize a string, right? You call the to uppercase on that string. If you want to make it lowercase, you call the to lowercase on that particular string. This is easy. Now if you want to join two strings together, say this method is used to join two strings together. Right. So it's similar to saying I say something like, okay, I say something like excuse me, I say something like Samson plus a space and then another plus my surname. Right, so that's very similar. So this will also give me what? Samson Ajulo. It's just instead of writing this long stuff, I can just call samson.concat and then put my other string, the other string I also add to this string in the parentheses here or in the arguments here. So trim. So this is used to remove extra spaces or white spaces from both sides of a string. So if probably somebody saves data and then there are extra spaces, probably by error from a user or something, you can use this method to trim the white spaces. All right, so to return the string without the white spaces. So start, when you call start, to only remove, when you call trim.start or string.trim.start, it will only remove the white space from the beginning of that string, right, from the left side of the string as is. So trim.end will remove the white spaces from the end of that string, right, from the end of that string, right. So if there's a white space on the end of the string, trim.end will remove it. But practically you only need to use this because for use cases you only need to be removing white spaces from both sides of the string and not just from one side. Part start and part end, those are useless. At least I've never had to use them in my life. Char code. Alright, so char code at will return a character at the specified index of a string. So if I have a string, for example, Samson, let me remove this. So I say, Samson. What will happen is if I call Samson.charCode at, or character at rather, if I call Samson.character at 0, it will return this character, which is the character at the index of 0. If I say what's the character at 4, yeah, it will count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will also return S because that's the fourth character. If I say what's character at position 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, sorry. It will say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Character at 5 would be, at index 5 would be N. Character at index 4 would be 0 because you're supposed to start counting from, will be O, because we are supposed to start counting from index 0. Okay, so char code at. So there's this thing called ASCII, which is the ASCII char code values for characters. You actually need this when you are doing encryption of data. Right, so you can use that to kind of manipulate string that you want to encrypt. Okay, we'll show you this later when we are dealing with algorithms. Yeah, so when you call this method on a particular string, it takes in the index of that, it takes in the index of the string that you want to find the Unicode character of, or the ASCII character of. So I think this thing is Unicode or ASCII, ASCII, something like that. So I say, what's the Unicode character of the letter at the fourth index? It will now call, it's going to check this and say, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Letter at index S is letter at index 4 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 0 or O. Then it's going to return 1, 1, 1. It's going to return 1, 1, 1. How did they get this 1, 1, 1? Apparently, those values are online. You can just Google them. Ask what's the character codes of all letters of the alphabet, and it's going to return that. Now, this is used to convert .split. This is used to convert a string into an array. Okay. It takes in the parameter, which is the character that we use to split that string. Okay, so this parameter that it takes most times are usually called delimiters. Yes, well, not delimiters. Delimiters is for the reversement. So it just takes in a parameter, which is the character that you want to use to split the string. So if I come here and I say take this character, take this string called Samson Ajulo, and split it by spaces. You see, this is a white space here. So the only space here that's here is the space that is here. So, and that's separating Samson and Ajulo. So I return substrings of Samson Ajulo. So array of substrings. Right. I hope this is easy enough. These are most of the stuff that you're going to be needing. Okay, there's one more here. The replace. This method will replace a string in another string. string. Okay, so if I want to replace Sam here, and I call the replace method on it, I can replace Sam with Sammy. So what will happen is that this Sam is just going to be cut out, and then to be totally replaced with Sammy. If I say replace all, yes, the replace will only replace one occurrence of Sam. So what if I have more than one occurrence of a particular character that I want to replace? Occurrences, double R, please. I'll have to use the replace all method to do that, and the replace all method actually works the same way with the replace method. The only difference is that it's going to take in, it's going to find all instances of that particular character that you want to replace, and then replace it with the one in the second index. Okay. So one other thing with replace all is you will come to learn about what's it called, regex. It can be used with regex. In fact, not just replace all. Replace can also be used with regex. Okay, so if I say Samson replace all instances of S, or yeah, no, not all instances of S, yes, all instances of S of character X with A. This is what it means. If I replace all instances of character S with A, so it's going to go into this code and look for S, and I'm going to replace it with A, basically. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, I think this is it, and the next thing will be to show you the code samples. Thank you very much.